Good morning, everybody. My name is Kevin, and this is your morning message and meditation. A little bit late on the live today for obvious reasons. The internal body clock that I have doesn't recognize daylight savings time. I did get up in time, but I didn't want to rush this message. I didn't want to have that feeling of rush. I didn't want to have that I didn't want to have that feeling of rushing around and make sure all this is turned on, switched on. I think it is. Okay, good. Where was I? Yes. I did sleep longer than normal. Well, I slept normal. We turned the clocks forward, so we all got deprived of an hour, which we'll get back in 7 months. I'm chuckling because, as we all know, everybody complains about the spring forward, but nobody says a whole lot about the fall back. My answer is, why do we just have to keep things as they are? And the quick answer to that is, nothing is as it is. Nothing will be as it is at all. And I actually have spent the last few months being okay with that. I've learned to glide into a space that everything in my life has been a new adventure all the time. When it comes to adventures that are not something I predicted, not something that I planned for, they end up being a good adventure anyway. I just have to get myself in that way of thinking, which brings me to a delightful message today. Let's see if this is the one. Yes, it is the one. Let me send that one to the trash. That was yesterday. So there we go. Another reason why I was a little bit behind the time this morning was that when I pulled the first card, Archangel Sanderson, who's the twin brother to Metatron, the first time I've seen him show up. These images are quite something. The eyes, the artist's ability to capture that depth and energy from the eyes of that archangel. And then, of course, spiritual abundance, which I love this little card. Reminds me of Tinkerbell from Peter Pan, but with money and blessings. So I was a little taken back with, okay, there's the individual card, and then there's a message that comes from both of them together. And I had to think about what intuitively could I say, and then what is the real meaning of each card. So let's start with the miracle of prayer. Thank you, Sandalphon, for delivering my prayers to heaven. So Sandalphon is the archangel that at one point he and his twin brother were in human form, and as the myth or the story goes, they ascended straight to heaven and straight to archangel status. Sandalphon is the one who delivers all the messages, all the prayers directly to heaven. So the blessing of this card when it shows up is anything you're concerned about, anything you need to know, anything you want to know, anything that you've been praying about is already been sent and seen and heard, and sometimes in many forms it's been answered. Spiritual abundance is really the card about the blessings that are infinite, that keep being blessed, that keep going, the blessings of health, vitality, well-being, the roof over our heads, the heat, all that kind of stuff. When this card shows up, it's basically a celebration that all of what you've done, the work you're doing, everything that we are, when we've been of service to other people, those rewards are going to start to become apparent and given. So those are the individual descriptions, interpretations from my angle of those cards. So put them together, and I have to say that whatever you have been wanting, desiring, asking for, praying about, has actually already been seen, answered, and it's coming if it's not already here. What I have to say is, lots of times I pull these cards as messages and I'm like, yes, that's confirmation. It seems to be confirmation. I seem to be getting these cards pulled for me after the fact, after realizing the prayers I've sent and things I've been given. In a message, I'd have to say, this would mean keep doing what you're doing because it's not going unnoticed. And that means if you feel called to serve other people, which if you're a spiritual light working person, you should be, yet you feel lost or stuck or confused about how to do that or what group to do that with, this is definitely telling you that the answer, or at least the pathway forward, will be revealed to you if it hasn't already been revealed to you. That your efforts for helping other people, for being confident, for lifting, for changing, for going with the tide, for letting go of the things that got in your way, are being recognized, and you're just going to go with the flow. Sort of this automatic way of being. You should start expecting all of your good intentions to manifest and begin to use words to make the things come your way the way you want them to. These two cards are basically saying that you've got God incidents everywhere. I think we'd used the affirmation earlier in the week that I am, and whatever that is, and you know this because whatever that reason, and you feel it, and so it is. You know, you could say I am the light, I know this to be true, I feel it in my heart, my bones, my body, and so it is. Those are sort of affirmations that are really true. Now, I'll add this about affirmations that I learned. We're only affirming the things we don't believe we have. The things we believe we have, we know we have, we've got. We don't need to affirm them because we know they're here. We only seem to push affirmations up there when we don't believe, or we don't feel, or we don't line up with what we want. This is the very odd part about a spirit being in a physical form. We've come here to learn things, teach things, share things, and then move on. Basically, we've come to be part of the evolution of the planet. So I don't really know for sure what planet Earth looked like 200 years ago. I imagine it was right at the end, at least in this part of the world, right at the end of the War of Independence. People having little hope that now they have their own piece of the world, whatever that looks like. But in order to make that happen, humans had to come and go. Souls had to come into human form and do that work. Like, there's still physical work to be done on a planet, a consciousness, like the tinkering. Yesterday I was watching a little thing about the Russians and the Japanese up on the International Space Station, and they were concerned that this ammonia gas was going to leak and get trekked back into the space capsule, whatever that was. What struck me in watching it was that that's why I didn't really pay attention to what they were doing. I paid more attention to, wait a minute here. We're down here on Earth doing our thing, worried about paying bills and poking our nose into entertainment shows. And yet there are men and women from different continents currently in the Earth's atmosphere tinkering around with space equipment. And I just find that fascinating. There's so much of the world that we just don't pay attention to, which is going on as we speak. So in saying it, know that whatever prayers you're sending up, they're being answered. Just have to think about it. Just have to concentrate on it. And if it's for your highest good and the highest good of everybody else, there's no doubt you're going to end up with it, whatever that is. Because here's the thing, when you ask for things you know is just a bit frivolous, what can I say? You might want a Rolls Royce, right? It's frivolous. And if you concentrate on what it feels like to park your Rolls Royce in the driveway, or what it feels like to get behind the wheel of it, or where all of the controls are, or all of this, if you really concentrate on that feeling of the leather, of all of that, you probably could manifest it. You probably could own it. Because anything we put our full attention to, we end up manifesting, we end up getting. So don't discount the fact that you've got the power to manifest and create anything you want in your life at all. If that makes sense. I don't know what's going on with my microphone here. It just doesn't want to seem to pay attention, or it doesn't seem to want to work. All right, let's get on with the weekly message. See if it ties into our... I've got to find my book. I saw it just now. Where is it? You see, I'm all discombobulated. Clearly, I did not plan to go hunting through my little office here looking for that book, but I know it's here. Well, no, it's not here. Isn't that weird? Oh, no, there it is. Meditaiont. This is going to be the reading for today, March the 14th. Oh, this one's about observe yourself. Watch yourself. That's not a grim That's not a grim admonition. I don't even know what that word means. Admonish? Warning, I suppose. Let's start again. Watch yourself. That's not a grim admonition. It's a call to observe yourself and is a helpful tool on the journey. When you get stuck in a behavior, stuck in a pattern, stuck in a place, a thought, a feeling, a job, or a relationship, and you don't know how to get unstuck, watch yourself. When you've tried everything you know and your feelings and old ways of reacting still come to the fore, even when you don't want them to, and especially when you've made an effort to do things differently, watch yourself. When it feels hopeless, when it seems like things will never change or shift, when you can't help yourself, it doesn't look like those around you can either. Look at yourself. The act of watching ourselves, neutrally observing ourselves without judgment or reproach, can be powerful tools for change. If you've tried to change, but it hasn't worked, then watch yourself. Watch the way you say. Watch what you say, what you think, how you feel, how you act, how you react. Don't try to stop yourself. Don't judge. Just observe. Do it as long as you need to, although it may not take long. Interesting. I like that. Pay attention to the way you feel and where you feel the reactions that are going on within you. That's a way to be present. Yesterday the message came up about sensitivity and being sensitive and lifting the senses up, knowing that, we have to be sensitive, empathetic to everybody and everything. And the lighter we get, the more, what's the term that Buddhists use? Enlightened means to be light, to act light, to behave in a light way toward others. Does require a person to be in touch with all of their emotions. It's an egoic, man-made construct that forces men and women, masculine, feminine, forces that energy to be suppressed. And I would love to know where all that comes from. Why is it that war has to be so destructive and hateful? Why can't it just be a disagreement? And then there's compromise. We live in a world of opposites. And I think the majority, the mass amongst us, are stuck in the middle of this, moving all forward with these two opposing forces. Finding that middle ground. Being present means watching yourself and being aware of where the balance is. Yesterday I had a conversation with somebody about bias. Had to look at that, and I quite frankly, honestly said, well, I think every single person on the planet has a certain level of bias. It's a question of where is the bias coming from? Can you do something with it? And accept that a person's bias is part of who they are. Doesn't make it right or wrong, just makes it what it is. Done. All right, let's meditate. Bring your feet flat to the floor and then connect. Integrate, drop in, be present to your environment, present to where you are, present to the day it is, present to how you're seated, present to the temperature of the room, the feeling of your skin against the floor or the back, or whatever you're sitting in. Just bring yourself present to where you are physically. Big breath in. Let all that go. Palms facing the roof. Your mind on your physical body, putting energy and air where you feel fatigue or trapped or stuck, or the areas that don't feel like there's a flow. And you can do a quick check. You can move your neck around, your shoulders around. And we'll begin with a prayer of protection. Thank you, Archangel Michael, for cutting the ties that bind me to people, places, situations, stories, drama, and all the other rubbish and nonsense I no longer need or want, or no longer serves my purpose. And thank you for cutting those ties right now. So it is, and so shall it be. Your hands over your heart, maybe one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart. And you can repeat after me. I am the keeper of my mind and my body. Wherever love is present, fear is a stranger, and love is right here within me. So it is, so shall it be. Bring your mind and your consciousness to the area of your heart and your lungs, the middle of your body. Inside you, the center of your being is this big golden light. Turn it on, it's never gone out, but lighten it up. And coming down from the ethers beyond the planets is the source energy that created that light. See the loving light coming down towards you and fill yourself up with the thoughts and feelings of happiness and what you are thankful for. Allow yourself to be surrounded by the happiness, the gratitude, the love and the joy and the peace. This is your invisible mist that comes from the inside of you and protrudes out. Know that you're seen, know that you're heard. And we'll call in the angels and the spirit guides. Thank you, angels, Christed light ones, spirit guides, and all higher beings of the kind universe. Thank you for revealing who you are and what we need to know. I am willing to listen and to receive, to share and to serve. So it is and so shall it be. As you sit and you breathe, see yourself seated around a circular pool of water. Reflected down the center of the water, you'll see either the sunlight or the moonlight. Let the reflection of this light illuminate the surface of the water. And feel the warmth of it, the glow of it, the magic of it, the miracle of it, as if it's a reflecting, bouncing back up towards you, illuminating you. And at this point, the surface of the water just imagine one or more of your angels, spirit guides, ancestors, or anyone you wish to send messages to. Picture them seated right in front of you. This can also be your spirit guide. Lift your face to a smile. Lift your consciousness to their consciousness. You can place more than one of these spiritual energies in front of you. Just breathe in their energy, breathe in their light, breathe in their love. Just have the feeling of happiness, of joy, that they are with you always. It is your light, it is your love, it is the way you vibrate that attracts them to you. The more lifted and open, grateful and happy and joyful and loving that you are, the stronger, clearer, more evident their presence will be. Your feelings, your state of being is the force, it's the energy, it's the vibration that attracts them to you. Your guides and angels want you to know that you are the force, the vibration, the magnetism that allows them to come. Without your desire, without your gratitude, without your joy, without your happiness, they have no way, no open communication, no way of knowing that they can communicate with you. Ask of your spirit guides any question you want. Listen for the answer. If the answer you receive is familiar, something you already know in your heart, then ask the question, what is the purpose for it? As you breathe deeper and pour more light into this area, this visualization, you are lifting your own vibration higher. You're creating a stronger connection between you and the source energy of spirit. You're causing your cosmos to line up with the universe in the way it was created to do. As long as you keep your intentions clear, continue being grateful for everything you receive. Maintain a mind of happiness and joy, gratitude, love, honor, respect, and integrity at all times. Bring your hands to prayer at heart center. Honor yourself for doing the work. Lift your thumb knuckles to your third eye center, and together we bow and say Namaste. Thank you. I am truly happy and grateful that you were with me doing that this morning. I'm listening, thinking about a way that oftentimes in meditation, creative visualization, it's all pretty much the same thing. Traditional meditation is literally sitting quietly and listening to anything and everything that comes, being open to whatever messages, just to be still, completely still, void of any distraction, void of any mental thoughts that get in the way of here being like recharging the batteries, spiritual batteries. I've often wondered, well, in lots of visualizations there is a completion, you whether it's going to spirit guides or waking up and whatever, that the visualization has a completion to it. In many of the visualizations and meditations I've done lately, there hasn't been this completion. It's just been this openness, as far as we just see what you see and you go with it. or the feeling or the expansion. And I asked internally of spirit guides, is there a way I should be completing this? Is there a way I should be, like coming back to Earth? And the very quick answer I got was, well, nobody left Earth. They're still on the Earth. They're still here. What they wanted me to know was keeping the positive lines, the openness, the feeling of gratitude, happiness, that feeling you get when you've really communicated with the other side. So what I learned in this one was what I now know, which I've always known, is that the other side, spirit guides, angels, the deceased loved ones, the ones that we want to connect with, that we're no longer able to connect with, they want to get in touch. They want to be around us all the time. They have this desire to wrap us up in love and abundance and all the things that are good. What we're not getting is we have to give them permission to do it. They have to be allowed to do it. Be grateful. Thank you for coming. Thank you. Whether they are your parents, a sibling, a child, or somebody who's literally passed through I call it a veil between life and death. Death being the end of this stuff. To do it, to connect, does take a bit of practice, because just as you're confused with how do I do that, you can't see it, you don't feel it. There are little tiny bits and pieces that show us, oh, you think of them, smell them, taste them, hear them randomly. That's your connection to know they're around. It's quick, it's fast, it's a wafting. The challenge is in the physical, in this world, cultural, there's this disbelief. It's not necessarily disbelief, because I think most people believe it. It is the feeling that if we were coming out and saying it, we might get admonished. That's where that word comes from. Watch yourself. And that is the paying attention to when spirits, angels, loved ones, guides, all of the other side tap and get in touch. Comes through all kinds of ways, all kinds of messages. I love the way it comes through lately for me through these wonderful cards and the way it's made me feel. So if this is something you're interested in doing more of, not a segue into it, but every week on Zoom at 2:00 on Sundays, I'm going to do the Soulpath Sunday, which is a bit of meditation, bit of a message, reading from the cards, and just really sharing the fact that we've all got the ability to do it. We just have to be open to it. All right. Have a great Sunday. If you're around this afternoon, 2:00 Eastern, the link will be in the Facebook, and I'll plop it over to Instagram to register and get on. And we'll go from there. All right. Lots of love. Bye.